Hello, it is Thursday and it is 12:17. I'm a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. So, I was prompted to do this discussion because I met with a dear friend this week for coffee. And the more that I research and the more that I listen to podcasts, perimenopause, going into menopause, is something that is dismissed, and it seems like the doctors are not wanting to talk about it. So I thought it was something really important to make sure that you, as a woman, and also even if you're a male listening today, you're affected by this as well because this is your partner. And if she feels like she's losing her mind, I'm sure you do as well. So, we're going to talk about the midlife metabolic reset, okay? And it is very controversial, and pretty much what I've come up with. What if menopause isn't the reason that you're gaining weight? It's metabolic neglect, right? That's usually what I say when women come to me and they're like, my hormones are off. I'm like, wait, hold up. I bet you more than anything, you got some insulin resistance and some metabolic dysfunction because the body is one system. So when one thing is off, it throws everything else off. And if you have insulin resistance, it's suppressing hormones. And that means that when we do run your labs, do we actually really have a true range of what is actually happening as far as what your numbers are coming back as in your hormones? Probably not, because you got insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction and it's causing everything to be off. And I know that probably ruffled a few feathers, but just hear me out on this because what I'm about to share, it could change the way that you look at your body, your metabolism, and your hormones forever. I am only running one platform today. It is on Facebook. So if you are listening to me, you're on Facebook. So comment, ask me any questions that you have. I do have a slew of Q&A at the end, because they have been coming at me pretty much for the last couple weeks. I'll remind you at the end, but I did write an ebook on this as well on my website. So if you visit lifewellnessforever.com, you can find, in the store, you can find the book about perimenopause and menopause. And it's a great, kind of functional workbook type of ebook. All right, so let me explain. Society blames menopause for weight gain, but often it's years of undereating, which I'm guilty of, overstressing, guilty, poor sleep, still guilty, lack of muscle, definitely have been working on that aspect, and unaddressed metabolic dysfunction, that catch up during menopause. And it does. It takes decades, and then right about the same time that menopause hits, hey Jamie, right about the same time menopause hits, everything else is catching up. It just goes hand in hand. So everything gets blamed on menopause. So we want to take a step back and say, hey, what is the root cause of this issue? Okay, so perimenopause. All right, you know who you are, but I am literally dedicating this for you because my heartstrings felt for you the other day, and I want to explain as much as I have researched and what I have found on this. Believe me, I wish that, well, I got thrown straight into menopause because I had a full hysterectomy at 23, but I still feel, even to this day, I have all the symptoms of perimenopause. So we're going to go into that. So you don't feel like you're losing your mind. It's a very silent transition. And the doctors, the OBGYNs, when you go to your regular doctor, your yearly, they might say, oh, it's not time to check your hormones. You're fine. You're too young, blah, blah, blah. You're not too young. At 35, you start going into perimenopause. So, and maybe even sooner than that, if you've had a lot of trauma and stress and maybe chronic illness, it could play a huge part of that as well. So, you could absolutely go into it earlier. So, don't get dismissed. Don't take you're too young. Don't take here's a script for an antidepressant. Don't take any of that, okay? Don't settle for it. There's more to that answer. Most women don't realize that perimenopause, it can begin 8 to 10 years before their final period. 8 to 10 years before your final period. So just because you're still getting your period and the doctors are like, oh yeah, you're fine. No, that does not mean you're fine. Hormonal fluctuations, okay? So things that we look at in your labs is going to be estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, insulin, thyroid. Remember, your body is one system. When one thing is off, it throws everything else off. Another thing I'm really looking hard at lately, and I've been reading a lot of research on it, is you have 3 types of estrogen: estradiol, estrone, and estriol. Well, the estrone, if you have high levels of estrone, which happens as you get closer to menopause, not only will you have the weight gain, but you are more susceptible to cancer. So we definitely want to check your estrone, and that is never checked by your doctor. They may check your estradiol, maybe, but you got to check everything to see exactly what is happening. Okay, so some symptoms of these hormone fluctuations: sleep changes, anxiety, belly fat, fatigue, brain fog. I was listening to a podcast. I'm reading a book called How to Menopause. It's so good. It's like a verb, how to menopause. And she was a news anchor. I don't know her, but she's very interesting. And she was talking about she'd gone her entire career, decades of being a news anchor, and then one day she was getting escorted off the set, and it was the first time in like 20 something years that she was not able to finish out the broadcast, and she was in the bathroom pretty much in a fetal position, having a full-blown anxiety attack for the first time, and this was the first signs of perimenopause. So if you are noticing some new anxiety, more panic attacks, it's not in your head. Don't let them give you a pill for it. You absolutely are having some hormone fluctuations. So how often it's misdiagnosed as depression, thyroid issues, or just aging? Pretty much every day, all day long, misdiagnosed. Okay, so again, I see so many people think that it's their hormones or menopause, or they are having thyroid issues, and a lot of times they are just straight up in a metabolic dysfunction. So the danger of waiting until menopause to start addressing these imbalances, there's a huge window. We don't. So my friend that I met with for coffee the other day, she's like, shouldn't we just be going into this transition anyway? Like, shouldn't we be? Yes, we have. I mean, it's inevitable, right? But we can lessen the symptoms, and there is no reason that you cannot be thriving during this decade of your life. No reason. Your sex drive, pretty much there. I keep seeing this same saying, and I'm sorry if I offend you, but it says, if you are not horny, you are not healthy. Okay? Did you hear me? If you're not horny, you're not healthy. That means that we need to get our sex drive nice and healthy, because that means our hormones are balanced. And we want the hormones balanced because we want to be fighting off the metabolic dysfunction. So it's all about the whole 8 to 10 years prior to menopause. This is where we need to be getting our shit together, okay? And really focusing on the habits and the consistency and the discipline to get your body nice and balanced. Remember, I'm always about the terrain. This is all part of it, because that whole time frame of menopause hitting, that's when I'm seeing all these cancers popping up in women as well, especially breast cancer. So get the terrain healthy, and you won't be facing a diagnosis. You and I won't be having a completely different conversation in 5 years. So this is your wake-up call to get it under control now, so you're not faced with a stage 4 breast cancer diagnosis at the age of 45, 50 years old. Let me tell you, I don't know how to wake you up if this doesn't do it, but I am seeing it every single day, and it's getting younger and younger and younger in the people that I'm seeing in my practice. Okay, so the myth of menopause metabolism. All right, so let's bust the myth that menopause automatically means a slower metabolism. So let me explain. Yes, estrogen drops affect it actually drops the effect of fat distribution, but loss of muscle from years of low protein, no resistance training, stress, and crash dieting, that is the true culprit. And it just catches up with you about the same time as menopause. Women often eat too little. Hey, I'm guilty of this. I have lived in a calorie deficit for a long time. I skipped strength training for quite a few years. That's actually when I got injured last year. I had been doing mostly yoga and meditation and really wasn't doing strength training. And I wholeheartedly feel that if I would have been doing strength training and I sustained the injury to my knee from my dog, those tendons and ligaments would have been way stronger and I would have been able to handle it. Instead, I ended up with 2 tears and and it took me 8 months to recover. Sideline, 2 doctor diagnoses saying I needed a total knee replacement, and then I ended up jumping on peptides and I'm back 100%. But you don't have to go through all that. Just start doing some strength training now to prevent all of that. And remember, as women, and I know you got, I'm not dismissing the guys out there, but we tend to push through the fatigue. We coat it with caffeine instead of nourishment. We are skipping meals. We're doing all the things because we got so much on us and we're juggling so many balls. Can't let anything drop, and you're not getting your good sleep. It's going to catch up with you, and it is going to cause some metabolic dysfunction. So I want you to think about it like this. Think of your metabolism like a campfire. Perimenopause is when most women stop adding logs and then wonder why the fire dies. You don't want to not have a sex drive at the age of 45, 50 years old because of your lifestyle habits from the 8 to 10 years prior that could have been changed. We want to be our healthiest versions of ourselves. All right, so what is metabolic neglect? Metabolic neglect is when we stop giving our metabolism what it needs: protein, muscle stimulus, recovery, and nutrients. And then we blame our hormones for all the fallout. Let me tell you, yesterday I've been really focusing on I'm on a build phase right now, and it is a completely I'm trying to stay away from the scale because it does mess with your mind as you're trying to build muscle, because that weight can fluctuate a little bit. But I've been really focusing on getting more protein in. The more I research, and again, I research from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed, but especially perimenopause and menopause, protein is gold. You need your protein. So yesterday I got, like, I think the most I've ever probably gotten in a day. I got 187 grams of protein in. My jaws are a little tired today from chewing, but I did it from all whole foods, no protein powders. And you remember, you have to feed your body for it to do all the things that you want it to do. For you to live optimally and have the best quality of life, you got to give your body the nutrients. And believe me, it's a practice for me every single day. Okay? I'm not perfect at all. And I have been, you can ask anybody around, I've been in a calorie deficit for, Jamie knows, raise your hand, Jamie. But I literally have been in a calorie deficit probably a lot in my 20s and 30s because I got thrown into menopause at 23 years old. So not really knowing how to navigate that, didn't have a coach, no one really talked about perimenopause. It was just me trying to navigate it on my own. So thankfully for you, I was my own guinea pig, and I can now teach you about it. Okay, so here's some common causes of metabolic neglect: chronic undereating, excess cardio, Jamie agrees, ignoring strength training, poor sleep and stress, ignoring thyroid and insulin signals, nutrient deficiencies. And again, don't throw everything in the kitchen sink into your body because you might not be deficient in it. This is where you cannot manage what you're not measuring. You got to get your labs done. See exactly where you are. Don't be next to John Brown on the treadmill at the gym and he's talking about some supplement that he's taking that is absolutely wonderful, and you go spend $70, $80 on this supplement. You might not even be deficient. You may not even need it. So test and see exactly what's going on and get the body back to a state of balance. So, how do we reverse metabolic neglect? Okay, eat enough. Prioritize protein. 30 to 40 grams of protein in every meal. Lift heavy shit. Lift weights. Muscle is medicine for metabolism and hormones. It will change your body. I mean, I'm probably in the best shape of my entire life right now, and it's because I've really honed in on weight training. Cardio has become, cardio has always been in my forefront, and now it's on the back burner. And I'm not saying you don't need it, but as your body adjusts and changes, and we're going into that menopausal decades, um, muscle is everything. And so I want you to really prioritize your weightlifting, and then get your steps in, get your walks in, do light cardio to flush all the lactic acid out, get blood flow going. There's so many other things to be doing. Balance blood sugar, include lots of fiber, healthy fats, and don't snack. I'm not a big snacker. I am eating multiple meals a day, but I'm not grazing and just snacking. I don't believe in that. I think that you do need to give your gut a reset. Support recovery, sleep. I'm reminding myself 7 to 9 hours. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is optimal. Manage stress. Use adaptogens like ashwagandha, GABA, L-theanine, and then practice your breath work as well. My friend Justin Nutt, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have seen me post about him. He is fantastic. He's out of Pensacola, but he does a lot of workshops on breath work. So if you get a chance, he is fantastic. Jamie asked, what about us women who are so way past perimenopause? Me too. What about the postmenopausal women? What can we do to help repair ourselves? It's pretty much the same thing, Jamie. It's just in perimenopause, it's more about prevention, trying to reverse it. But literally everything that I just talked about, you're going to be, I'm sure that you're experiencing that now as well, the symptoms. So now it's just about maintenance and keeping your hormones under control, and just know when to ebb and flow, because the body's constantly changing, especially as we have outside stresses that hit us from every angle every single day. So you got to be able, what works today, it may not work tomorrow. So you got to be ready to change, stay on the toes, do your homework and research. And I mean, literally, I love Chat GPT. I can go in there and I can kind of just, you got to teach them, right? I mean, like, it's AI, you got to teach it. But I can go in there and put in my supplements, put in my peptides, put in my workout of the day, and he will, I call him he, I named mine, but it will literally spit out to say, hey, you've already worked out this amount today. You need a really light ruck, a light walk, a light, maybe incline walk on the treadmill. And it just it learns your body and exactly what you need. And it's been working for me. So that's always an option as well, Jamie. So try it out. And then test, don't guess. Functional labs. Check in thyroid, full thyroid panel, not just your TSH. That's all that's ever checked when you go to your GP. That does not tell us hardly anything. It doesn't tell us if you're having conversion issues, because that TSH may look fine, and they say, hey, your thyroid looks good. But then if I run your T3 uptake, reverse, T4, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it shows a little bit of conversion issues, it's letting us know that that metabolic dysfunction is affecting the thyroid as well. So we got to get that fixed. I check cortisol, AM, PM, insulin, fasting insulin, inflammation, and then also all your sex hormones. And remember, you cannot fix what you don't measure. So functional testing shows where your fire went out. And I love to look at old labs too, because old labs let me know where things started shifting at and what we need to do to get back there. So during my consults, I always say upload your old labs. That's part of my fee is I study all the old labs as well. I don't care if they're 5 years old. I like to look and see exactly what's going on. Okay, so menopause is not the end of vitality. It's the start of metabolic mastery if you choose it right. You're not broken. You've just been underfed. You're overstressed and you're undermuscled. You can rebuild strength, energy, and metabolic flexibility at any age. Anne says she loves Chat GPT. I do too, Anne. Mine's name is Leo. I think Jason thinks I'm gonna leave him for Leo. Leo does tell me how amazing I am, and he asks me what books I read every day. So maybe Jason. All right. So if you have questions about your symptoms, always feel free to reach out to me on that. I love to hear about your experiences, maybe what works for you. Again, I did write a PDF on this. So if you have a chance, go to my website, lifewellnessforever.com. And I think it's 75 pages. And again, it's more of a functional workbook type of thing. I think I have it listed for $14.99. But if you have any questions about anything, just let me know. Okay. I don't have any questions right now in the live comments, so I'm going to go straight into the questions that I've been collecting over the past 2 weeks. So question 1, I'm 45 and gaining belly fat even though I'm eating healthy. Is that just menopause starting? No, and this is the one that if you've ever consulted with me and I go through your labs and I tell you that you got insulin resistance, I'll usually say, are you holding some extra weight in your midsection? Because that's exactly what happens. Your body produces too much insulin and leptin. It doesn't know what to do with it, and it stores it as fat in your midsection. Been there, done that as well, so I understand it. So it's usually a metabolic shift, and your body becomes more insulin resistant, meaning that it's not sensitive as it needs to be. And this happens during perimenopause, especially if you're under eating and you're not strength training. You're not broken. You just need to feed and move differently for this phase. How do I know if I'm in perimenopause? Well, if your cycles are changing, your sleep is off, or you're suddenly anxious, moody, or bloated, it's not your husband. See, guys, I just got you off the hook on that one. It's probably perimenopause. It can start 8 to 10 years before your final period. Blood work, estradiol, progesterone, FSH, cortisol. I'm checking estrone, estriol. They can confirm it, but symptoms often tell us everything that we need to know. Why do I crave sugar and carbs all the time now? This is part of the metabolic dysfunction. It's your body's way of screaming for fuel and hormonal stability. When estrogen and progesterone drop, blood sugar gets erratic. More protein and fiber, not restriction. More protein and fiber in your diet. It helps to stabilize cravings. I'm getting so much protein in now, I had to back off my fiber because I was not able to get it in. I was so full all the time from the fiber. So it's finding your own balance. There's no one size fits all. You just got to figure out. Jamie, that is not nice. I love your husband. Do not blame him. It is definitely menopause. But yeah, remember, there is no one size fits all. You just got to figure out what works for you. Question 4. I'm eating less but still gaining. How is that possible? Well, that's metabolic neglect in action. Chronic dieting and low calories slow thyroid output. It reduces muscle and it makes your metabolism thrifty. You have to reverse diet, feeding your metabolism, not starve it. That's where I'm at right now. I'm really trying to feed my metabolism, and it's working. I mean, I feel like I'm burning it. I'm staying lean and tight, muscular, but my workouts are stronger. I have more energy than I've had in a really long time, so it feels good to be feeding my body. Again, I'm not perfect. It's always, I feel like I'm always ebbing and flowing to see what works for me because my body's constantly changing. Question 5. Is hormone replacement therapy the answer? It absolutely can be part of the solution. It's not the whole thing. Remember, it's all pieces of the pie. HRT, hormone replacement therapy is abbreviated for HRT. It can help regulate sleep, mood, and fat distribution, but it won't build muscle or fix a neglected metabolism. You still need food, strength, and recovery. Remember, it takes all pieces of the pie to make everything work. There is not a magic pill that you can take and everything's going to be hunky-dory. Doesn't work that way. Sorry, guys. Question 6. What's the biggest mistake women make in perimenopause? Doing more instead of doing better. More cardio, more restriction, more stress. You cannot out-cardio a hormone shift. You need to lift, rest, and eat enough. I'm saying that to myself. You need to lift, rest, and eat enough. Question 7. How much protein do I actually need? Aim for at least, no less than 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of goal body weight daily. That's roughly about 30 to 40 grams per meal for most women. Protein preserves the muscle, stabilizes blood sugar, and it keeps your metabolism humming. Question 8. Can I do intermittent fasting during menopause? You got to be careful about this. I talked about it last week. Read the book Fast Like a Girl by Mindy Pez, I think is her last name. If your adrenals and thyroid are balanced, maybe. But if you're fatigued, anxious, or you have poor sleep, fasting often makes things worse. Start by balancing blood sugar first. Fasting is a very advanced tool, and it's not a fix. I have one of my personal training clients right now. She is fasted from her window of eating is 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then she fasts, and her body's kind of stuck right now. And I just got through telling her, I'm like, I think your adrenals are too stressed. It's time to change things up. And she needs to do some labs. So I know that fasting is like the hottest thing out there, and I love it too. I love a 12 to 16 hour window of fasting. I had to cut back on my fasting because I was not able to retain muscle. So you just, again, you got to see what works for your body. There is no one size fits all. Question 9. Why does my body feel inflamed all the time? Well, hormonal changes increase inflammatory markers like high sensitivity CRP and your interleukin 6, especially if you're not sleeping well or eating ultra processed foods. Anti-inflammatory nutrition, magnesium, omega-3s, and movement are going to be your best medicine. Question 10. Actually, I'm going to skip that one. I'm only going to do 10 questions today. Okay, here's this one. Is weight gain after 40 inevitable? Absolutely not. It's common, but not normal. If you train, eat enough, manage stress, and balance hormones, you can be stronger and leaner at 50 than you were at 30. Remember, guys, it is all about a balance and discipline and consistency. I hope you got something out of this today. I would love to expand on it. We definitely can do another segment on it. Remember, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, send me a message, comment, email Cindy at drcindyross.com. And again, go to my website, lifewellnessforever.com, and go to my store, and you'll see all my PDFs for sale there. And then if you want them for free, I have a wellness circle that you can join for a small monthly fee, and all of my PDFs are free for all the members. And then subscribe here on Facebook as well. I do proprietary posts just for my subscriber hub. So I always appreciate you guys tuning in. I try to keep it under 30. I'm at 31 minutes, so I'm sorry for taking up too much of your lunch hour, but I truly appreciate all of you tuning in, and love you big. If you need me, I'm here. Cindy, 251-635-7477. Have a great day.